We want to get to the ending birthright citizenship, but Congressman, you're right off the floor of the House. I can see you there. What's happening in the latest? They have the Fox Amendment up, just what they call a perfecting amendment, before they get to the rule, before they can get to the passage, the final passage. But what is the latest? This is still open, even though the Republicans have the majority right now, but they don't want to close it because they got to figure out where they're going to go next.
Hey, Jason, it's great to see you again. And yeah, this is the process, as you well know. Our conference, we have a narrow majority, but our conference is full of very independent-minded people. And some of them come from swing districts where they're very sensitive to general elections. Some of them come from more conservative districts where they're sensitive to primary elections. Everyone supports this president. But different members have different sensitivities. This is the process. I just talked to the House Majority Leader Steve Scalise. We're making progress, good progress, on getting back onto the Fox Amendment, the rule, and then ultimately final passage. But there are still a few of our members who are talking to the White House and to the president. This is what I love about the president, though, Jason, is that even though we have a very diverse conference, and even though we have a lot of different ideas, there's one man who is a real leader in this country who can bring these diverse groups together, these diverse Republican members together, and deliver on the promises that he made, and that is President Donald Trump.
Yeah, and no doubt about it. Look, this is everybody rode the president's coattails to get to office. They wouldn't be in office if they weren't pro-Trump along the way. But now we got his signature bill up there, and people think they've got a better way than, the other couple hundred Republicans that are up there. Like, you didn't get everything you wanted. I'm sure the president didn't get everything he wanted. But there comes a point where you got a choice. You going with AOC and Hakeem Jeffries, or are you going with the president? And look, if Ron Johnson and Mike Lee, some of the most conservative senators out there, can go for this, I can't believe there's somebody in the House who thinks it's not good enough.
Exactly. And as I understand it, some of the holdouts are fiscal hawks, fiscal conservatives. I'm a fiscal conservative. I recognize that we have a debt crisis with $36 trillion in debt. But my message, and I think the president's message to these members, is that we will never balance the budget. We will never get our fiscal house in order if we don't grow this economy. And we have to grow this economy so fast, Jason, that what we owe starts to shrink relative to the overall size of the economy. And this bill, this one big beautiful bill, which is a promises made, promises kept bill for the president that stops a $4.5 trillion tax increase. This is jet fuel. It's rocket fuel for the economy, with bonus depreciation and no tax on tips and all of the business tax relief.
Look, no doubt about it, because the alternative, you vote no and it doesn't pass, they get a 68% tax increase on your constituents. So congratulations. I want to get to ending birthright citizenship, and it's an important issue. You want to see something done differently to make sure this ends once and for all. What's your plan?
Yeah, so the Supreme Court still hasn't reached the merits of this issue in the Constitution. Right. The president wants to end birthright citizenship because it's a magnet for illegal immigration, and one of the causes for our crisis, certainly a lack of leadership from President Biden, and his open borders policy was the main problem. But the bottom line is to put to rest this question about the legality of it, we need a constitutional amendment to say, look, if you come to this country illegally and have a child as an illegal alien into our country, that person does not deserve all of the rights and benefits of an American citizen. Obviously, if you're a legal permanent resident, if you come to the country the right way, if you come legally, we want to honor that legal immigration. And in that case, birthright citizenship is part of who we are. But we should not allow illegal immigrants to game the system and come and have children in order to gain access to the benefits and privileges of this country. That dishonors legal immigrants to our country, and that's why I want a constitutional amendment to permanently end illegal immigrants having birthright citizenship rights for their children.
So the idea is to have Congress pass that, then it goes to the states where you got to get 2/3 of the states to ratify it. Then it comes back. We can ask the states. It seems fair. It seems like the right thing to do.
That's right. I think that's the right thing to do, and it's the one way we know we can actually get the the policy in place that the president wants. There's some legal questions about whether we can do it by statute. And so what I did is I looked at my good friend Brian Babin's bill, which does this, attempts to do this by statute. And I just did the exact same bill, but in a constitutional amendment form.
Right.
I think this is the right way to do it. But make sure that illegal immigrants can't game the system.
Real quickly, I've only got about 30 seconds. You're thinking about running for the United States Senate, but your opponent, Nate Morris, is out there saying you're a McConnell puppet. What's your reaction to that? Very quickly.
Well, that's funny from a guy who used to work for Senator McConnell, who was a classic establishment fundraiser for a lot of establishment Republicans. And then he went way far left and had David Fluff on his board. He was an ESG CEO, and now he's remaking himself as some kind of Johnny-come-lately MAGA. The bottom line is this, Jason. People have called me a McConnell Republican. They've called me a Rand Paul Republican. Bottom line is I'm neither. I'm an Andy Barr Republican. I'm an America First Republican who supports this president. And I think that's what the people of Kentucky ultimately will see, is someone who's ready on day one to deliver for this president and for the people of Kentucky with a proven track record of delivering our conservative values for Kentucky over and over again.
Well, I've served with you, and it was an honor and a privilege, and I know your heart's in the right place, so good luck. Congressman Andy Barr, the great state of Kentucky.
Thank you, Jason.
All right, more Kudlow.